Hey Taurus, it's Suzanne with Sunny Forest Tarot, here to do your weekly reading. Now, before we get into your reading, I would like to, I'm going to do this with 4 signs this week. Cancer, you, Aries, Gemini. I have these great empowering question cards. So I pulled a card earlier when I did the Cancer reading, and I would love for you to answer this question. I'm looking for this from Cancer, Gemini, Taurus, and Aries this week, because I just want to see. I want to see how people answer this question in different ways. I will pin my answer in the comments in each of these readings that I'm doing this week. But I think it's really interesting. I love this deck, and I'm going to do this every week. I'm going to pick different signs every week. And I just want to see how you answer the questions, but also, your answer might inspire somebody else. Your answer might help somebody else. Your answer might help me. I feel like it's important to explore deeper questions. And the question that came up this week was this: what is my worst fear? How does it limit my possibilities in life? Have you ever thought about this? What if you asked this question of somebody in your life? You might actually learn something about them that you had no idea about. I feel like there is a lost art of conversation in the world right now. And I feel like asking really deep, good questions is a really good thing to do. What if you ask this of your person? What would they say? Do you have any idea what they would say? The other piece of this that I think is interesting is, anybody that's on my channel, anybody that's watching my channel is probably knowing that they are on some type of spiritual journey. Okay, everybody is, but not everybody is aware of it. So if you were to ask this of somebody that isn't aware that they are on a higher spiritual journey, what would they say? How would they answer this question? It's probably going to be very different from how you would answer this question. So I'm calling on you to answer this question in the comments. And I just want to see, this might be very cathartic for you. You can be very honest in your answer. There's going to be no judgment, and I encourage everybody, not to judge other people's answers. Okay, this is going to be personal to everybody. All right, so you have been picked this week to answer this question. And you can look in Cancer, you can look in Aries, you can look in Gemini and see how the responses are different. So that's the question. That's the question of the week. And I'll be interested to hear and see what your responses are. All right. So let's get into your reading for the week. I'm using the kind of a witchy oracle deck this week. And then we'll get your questions. I'm going to continue to use the cards that I've created, these haphazard, ridiculous cardstock cards that I've created. But I really feel like it allows spirit to guide the reading. Your topic comes up. Whatever the topic is, I go with. Whatever the questions are, I go with. Sometimes it's going to be your exact reading and what you need to hear, and sometimes it's not. And you know, I'm okay with that. So yeah, so we will pull some questions for you here in a minute after we do the oracle cards. All right, so let's see. We're keeping it kind of in a Halloween theme with these witchy oracle cards. I don't think that I've brought out these oracle cards since last year during Halloween, but they're actually really good cards. So let's see what comes out for you, Taurus. All right. Let's start off with this card here in the middle. What do we have? Whoops. We have the Alchemist, okay? Herbal Kitchen. I don't know what Herbal Kitchen means, but the Alchemist says that, you know, you might be experiencing a true chemistry with somebody, but this is also saying that you have, like the magician, you also have all of the tools that you need to not make this happen, because it's not about making it happen, but you have all the tools and the power of the universe behind you, you know, to create something here. I do feel like this is about you having a certain level of chemistry with somebody else. Okay, so I don't know what question is coming up for you, you know, and I have a lot of topics, and what really has been surprising to me is the topics that are coming out seem to be pretty consistent. You know, you guys don't know that I have, you know, in this, like I've got 2 of these decks, okay? 2 of these big decks. And there are tons of topics in here. And the topics that are regularly coming out, you know, are mutual interest, unforeseen or unspoken connection, relationship union, messy connection, long lost love, soul connection, twin flame. These are the cards that are coming out. But within these decks, I have single or not. You know, I have career, mission, self-development. You know, I have messages from spirit. And it's so interesting to me that, you know, the topics that are coming out are pretty consistent across the board. So, you know, just to prove it to you, all right, we have soul connection, twin flame, long lost, separation, chemistry, unspoken, single or not, relationship union, let's see, complications in marriage. That hasn't come out once. Mutual interest, chemistry, how spirit sees you, complications in marriage, how spirit sees you, soul connections, twin flame, soul connections, twin flame. So there are a lot of topics that haven't shown themselves yet in any reading, and that includes last week and this week. So we're going to use this deck because I use this deck to show you. All right. So let's see. What do we have surrounding the alchemist here? We have autumn. Well, what's going on right now? Autumn. So this is happening right now. Whatever is happening between you and somebody is happening right now. If we get single or not, if this is just about you, this is happening right now. What do we have here? Intention. So this is almost saying, you know, that there is intention in the fall or autumn based on the chemistry that you have with somebody. You know, if you aren't connected to somebody, chances are, you know, I don't know how many truly single people find tarot. I believe that people find tarot because they have a connection. They might end up being single, but I don't feel like they find tarot when they're truly single. So chances are you have somebody in your life that you feel a certain chemistry with. All right, so let's see. Let's get a card for you, shall we? All right. Relationship or union. Okay, so what are the questions here? Look at that. What are our intentions long term? And then we have intention right here. So, you know, and this has been very there's Boogie. This has been very eye-opening to me doing it this way, because I have surrendered basically all of my power to spirit, and they really haven't disappointed. You know, I feel like the right card is coming up, you know, for each sign. So we have intention in autumn. There's some type of intention maybe towards you in autumn. So what are our intentions long term? So this is about you and somebody else, okay? What are the intentions long term between you and somebody else? The follow-up question is, what do we need to discuss more than we do? Now, there might be a situation where the two of you really aren't that deep. You know, you're not necessarily talking about long term. You might be having a hard time getting past the word go, okay? But either way, you know, let's take a look at what possibly might need to be discussed between you and your person, all right? So I'm going to be using the Pagan Tarot today, and I'm going to use the Dark Woods Tarot. I love the Dark Woods Tarot. I forgot I even had it in my stockpile of tarot cards. So I brought it out today because I feel like it kind of has a little bit of a Halloween feel to it. So anyway, so let's take a look. What are our intentions long term? So these are intentions that you share with your person. This isn't your intentions. This isn't their intentions. This is the intentions that you share towards each other. Whether you are speaking to this person on a regular basis, or, you know, the two of you are a little bit shy towards each other, or maybe you're just in that phase of noticing each other. Whatever it is, what are your intentions? What are their intentions combined towards each other? Let's see. All right. First card, most important. What do we have here? All right, so we have the elemental the Elemental of Pentacles. So this is the Page of Pentacles and it's in the reverse. Okay, so both of you right now are experiencing resistance and limitations towards each other in some way. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? Because what that tells me is that both of you, you can't experience any resistance if there isn't a positive force on the other side. So that tells me that both of you have a positive force towards each other, but you're both holding yourselves back for some reason. You're both holding yourselves back from some reason. And there's, I feel like, some really strong chemistry between the two of you. It feels like autumn, fall. You know, September, October, November is a big time frame for you when it comes to your particular person. What do we have here? All right, so we have the Strength card in the reverse. So this is card of Leo. First of all, you might be dealing with a Leo. But secondly, the chemistry that's happening between the two of you, instead of empowering you, in some way it's making you feel very, very vulnerable. And vulnerability isn't a bad thing. It just means that it's how you interpret it. Because vulnerability is, there's actually a lot of strength in vulnerability. But the fact that you are seeing, I feel like you specifically are seeing vulnerability as a weakness on some level. You feel vulnerable around this person because your heart is involved. Now we're asking, what are our intentions long term? So that tells me that whatever you're feeling, they're feeling. Okay, so both of you are focused on the limitations of this. You're both focused on the limitations of coming together, or the limitations of your connection. You both feel very vulnerable because both hearts are involved. What do we have here? We have the Empress in the reverse. So, I feel like ultimately this person and you are the same for them. Both of you are testing each other's resolve. So this might be something that has been going on for a while for you. This might be something that has been going on for a while for them as well. You know, whether you are in a relationship, whether you are moving towards union with this person, or whether this is future energy for you. It's like this connection in some way is testing your resolve. You know, are you willing to stick with it? Are they willing to stick with it? You know, you're both in the energy of resisting each other in some way because both of you have a limitation mindset instead of an abundance mindset. When you have a limitation mindset, you are always focused on why you can't have something, or why something won't work out, or why it's not appropriate, or why you are not right for each other, or something is getting in the way, something is blocking me. There's a limitation mindset versus an abundance mindset for both of you. Okay? Abundance mindset is I can have anything I want when I want it. I can have the love that I deserve anytime I want it. I have the support of Source or God all of the time. I enjoy life. I don't focus on limitation. I focus on abundance. So there is a limitation mindset here between the both of you. All right. So the Empress in the reverse is about testing your resolve because both of you are in a limitation mindset. Okay. So I feel like the universe is trying to shift you into more of an abundance mindset. Like, I deserve everything that is good, positive, and loving. Okay. All right. So let's see what we have here. 10 of Cups. Love it. So 10 of Cups is always a future energy. So both of you carry the future energy of emotional fulfillment with each other. I like seeing that. I really like seeing that because that is confirming the chemistry between the two of you. It also, you know, with autumn and I love fall. I love autumn. It's my favorite season, you know, and, you know, I live in Buffalo, New York. Okay. And what's so interesting to me, and I just said this to my sister the other day, you know, I grew up here, you know, so I'm back here, you know, and I'm actually debating whether or not I'm going to stay here, to be honest with you, because, and I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but, you know, it's how it rolls out. But, you know, I lost my other main source of income last week. You know, I work in a field, I work in the medical field, and I work from home. So you know, and of course I'm in New York State. So, you know, I'm sharing this with you. I've shared it with, I think, everybody that I've done a personal reading with, but I lost this opportunity because I refused to do something that New York State is requiring you to do. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I thought because I was at home, it wouldn't matter. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'm okay letting it go. And so for those of you that I'm sure the reason that I'm talking about this in your reading is because there's somebody out there that is experiencing the same thing. And, you know, it's okay. I never allow fear to control me. It doesn't control me. And I will be perfectly okay. And so don't worry about that. And you will be perfectly okay if this has happened to you. I have to be very careful about what I talk about on this platform. Okay, so, you know, just so you know, that's why I have to censor myself, which I can't stand. But yeah, you know, so, you know, I did this from home. I worked from home. I did what I needed to do with my readings. I did what I needed to do with that, and it's taken off the table. And you know what? And I couldn't do any personal readings that day because I was so angry about it. And then I realized, you know, there's nothing to be angry about. This is where we're at right now. And I have to be strong in my convictions. You have to be strong in your convictions too. All right, so if none of you, or if any of you don't know what I'm talking about, I can't help you. I mean, it's all out there. So anyway, so let's see what this last card says here. Death. So this is Scorpio energy. This is transformation. Some of you get very nervous when you see this card. I love this card, okay, because this means that something is ending for you and something is also beginning for you. Something old is out the door. So, you know, it's not a coincidence that I was just talking about something that went out the door for me, because that means something new is on its way. Okay? And, you know, if any of you are in an energy of being fearful about where you're at, you know, and this is outside of any connection, realize that things happen for a reason. And, you know, I am such proof of that. I should do a video. I should do a video on that because it's so true. You can trust the universe. You really can, and I always do. So if something moves out of my life, it's for a reason. And that means something new is coming in. Okay? The way that I'm doing readings now is completely different than what I was doing before, and I'm much more connected to what I'm doing now. I'm much more connected, trusting Spirit to bring up the right questions for you. Okay, if you're new, you can watch, you know, I've got, I don't know how many videos out there from the last 2.5, 3 years. You know, I took a hiatus for about 4 weeks because something wasn't right for me. So it's not surprising to me that I took that hiatus right before I did this, basically changing how I did my readings, because I wanted my general readings to feel more personal, because I love doing the personal readings, but I wasn't loving as much doing the general readings. So I knew there was a disconnect, and I had to figure out, you know, how do I give the same energy in my general readings as I do my personal readings. So the Death card here for you is about transformation. What are our intentions long term? It's to transform the energy of this connection into something better. Okay? Not focusing on limitations. Being okay with being vulnerable with each other. All right? Being okay having your resolve tested, because I feel like it is right now. You know, you might be in a situation where you know, you're at your wit's end with somebody, and it's okay. It's okay. You know, trust the universe that everything is working out the way it's supposed to. I believe that. I have evidence through my whole life that that is true. Okay, so you do too. You do too. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so let's see. I want to look at that Strength in the reverse, first of all. And then I want to look at the Death card. Card of Scorpio, you might be dealing with a Scorpio. All right. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh geez. My nail just popped off. All right, so I won't let you see that. All right, so we have a Hangman for the Strength in the reverse. So what is the Hangman? It's about looking at your vulnerability from a new perspective. And that means that you could look at your person's vulnerability. Why might your person feel vulnerable around you? You might not look at that. You might not look at that closely. You might be so focused on why you feel vulnerable around your person that you don't even consider why this person might feel vulnerable around you. So I feel like that's a challenge for you to really look at what makes you feel, or what makes your person feel vulnerable around you. It might be the same thing that makes you feel vulnerable around your person. What do we have here for the Death card? Elder of Swords. All right. So this is King of Swords energy. This is Gemini energy. So anytime the King of Swords shows up, the transformation that I feel needs to happen, what are our intentions long term? Both of you, I feel like, tend to be very realistic in your real life. You tend to be very realistic, you tend to be practical, you tend to be very logical in terms of what makes sense for your life. Those are good qualities, right? King of Swords is a very mature energy. I feel like you and your person are both very mature and individuals. And when I say mature, I don't necessarily mean age. Okay? Maturity is not equivalent to age. You might be very mature for your age. Okay? Both of you might be very mature for your age. Both of you tend to look at the practical, at the logical of what makes sense practically for your life. That is going to be not challenged, but I feel like with the Hangman here, it's about trying to look at that from a new perspective, in the sense of the flip side is the emotional vulnerability side. Both of you might be very afraid to make yourself vulnerable to the other person, truly vulnerable, because you can't have an intimate relationship, a union, without intimacy, okay? This relationship union might happen very fast when both of you submit or surrender to the fact that there's value in being vulnerable to each other. If neither one of you are willing to be vulnerable to the other, your intimacy is compromised right from the start. If neither one of you are willing to be vulnerable to each other, your intimacy is compromised right from the start. Okay? So, King of Swords, your logical mind is trying to take over. All right? Son of a bitch. All right. Let's look at the Empress in the reverse. Ten of Wands. So, for you, Taurus, and for the other person, whoever this is, your resolve is being tested, and that is the number one burden that you are feeling. And this is also the number one burden your person is feeling as well. All right? So if you think you are the only one burdened in this connection, that is not true. Ten of Wands, always a past energy. Ten of Swords, always a past energy. Ten of Cups, always a future energy. Ten of Pentacles, always a future energy. Okay, so, this is an energy that you carry from the past. Same for your person. All right, let's look at the Ten of Cups. What do we have here? All right, so we have Initiate of Pentacles, which is the Queen of Pentacles. So that's interesting because when the Queen of Pentacles shows up in the reverse, it means she has shut down. So because we're not willing to make ourselves completely vulnerable, what are our intentions long term? Neither one of us are willing to make ourselves vulnerable to each other. So it's like, how can we talk about long term when we can't make ourselves vulnerable to each other, which is what creates intimacy? So the Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like, I've just shut down on my emotional fulfillment. What brings me ultimate happiness, both of you are just shutting down on what brings you emotional happiness and fulfillment, because neither one of you are willing to make yourselves completely vulnerable to each other, which, don't get me wrong, that is a hard thing to do. That's a hard thing to do. But that opens you up to unconditional love, that beautiful energy of intimacy and true love. But so few people subject themselves to that vulnerability. So what do we need to discuss more than we do? There's something that the two of you need to discuss that you don't discuss. Let's see what that is. What do we have? King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles, first of all, is what you do in life. Okay, so if you don't know what this person does for a living, you need to really ask yourself why that is. Number one. If you don't know what makes this person tick, what makes this person happy, King of Pentacles is saying, you know what? It's okay. You need to find out that information. And they should know, or they should want to know what that information is from you as well. What makes you tick? What makes you happy? Okay? So I feel like both of you are doing well in life. Both of you are doing well in life. And neither one of you knows why you are doing well in life. That's important information to know about the person that you possibly want to be intimate with. What else do we have? Page of Pentacles. All right, so Page of Pentacles in the reverse is about limitation. When Page of Pentacles is in the upright, it's about opportunity. So it's kind of a dichotomous card. I like this card, actually. So it's like you're limiting yourselves. Both of you are limiting yourselves. You're limiting your opportunity to this beautiful chemistry that the two of you have, because neither one of you really, really knows each other. And I don't care where you are in this relationship or union, you don't know each other. You don't ask deep questions of each other. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this with these cards, because it'll help you to see, like if you think about asking your person this question, what is my worst fear? What is your worst fear? That tells you a lot about a person. You can use these questions with your person. You can use these questions with your family. Frankly, if I were to ask this of my sister, I wouldn't know what the answer would be. That's why these are really good questions. If I were to ask that of my niece or my brother-in-law, I wouldn't know what the answer would be. That just tells you how little or how much we don't ask really important questions of people. What do we have here? All right, so we have the Hierophant in the reverse. All right, so I feel like both of you share something in your past, okay? Both of you share something significant in your past that, you know, you have in common. And now, with this connection between the two of you, it's like a new chapter in an old book. So it's like you can reinvent what relationship is to you, what relationship is to this person, because you met this person. What do we need to discuss more? I feel like it's like what you have learned in your past. What you have learned in your past, what you feel most vulnerable, what your limitations are, what makes you feel most vulnerable, but also what makes you happy. These are the primary things that your person needs to know about you and what you need to know about your person. Okay? All right, so let's get some oracle cards for you and your person. One for you, one for your person. All right, one for you and one for your person. All right, so for you, what do we have? Joy and jubilation. The number 12 breaks down to the number 3 in numerology, which is about communication. So there's nothing that would bring you more joy and jubilation than to have honest communication with your person. Point blank. What else do we have here? Oh, extraordinary. There's a wild and impetuous uniqueness to you that deserves to be honored. That's something that you need to remember, okay? Because whatever is going on between you and your person here has nothing to do with who you are, okay? It has to do with fears of limitation, okay? Not being completely authentic with each other, not having the right conversations with each other, not asking the right questions of each other, okay? So this is a reminder that you are extraordinary no matter what is going on with you and your person. So let's take a look at what we have here for your person. A beautiful face. Okay, so first and foremost is about the fact that your person finds you extremely beautiful and attractive, okay? But that only goes so far. We have the number 3. 3, 3. This is about communication between the two of you, point blank. What do we have here? All right, so we have clearing. As a true offering arises, this is for your person, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's, such freedom. So this is ultimately about surrender for your person, okay? This person I feel like is enraptured a little bit with you. The clearing is about going from ego to source energy for this person. So this person might be in the middle of a spiritual awakening. You might be ahead of them in that sense, because you might be recognizing that you are extraordinary, just like Source and God, and you are aligned in that nature. This person might be a little bit behind you with respect to that. Okay? All right. Taurus. I feel like I went way over. You guys got a lot more in this reading than most. So answer that question for me. Okay? What is your worst fear? It might be very cathartic to answer that, and I will not tolerate, as far as the comments go, I will not tolerate any judgment of anybody's answers. Okay? This is for you to be totally honest. It's a medium for you to be totally honest. And again, I will share my worst fear and how does it limit my possibilities in life. I want to learn from you, and I want other people to learn from you. So don't hesitate to respond to that, okay? All right, I appreciate it. Much love. Thank you. Have a great week. Bye.